king's darkest shadows. We meet again. Upon a midnight dreary. Flicker across my wall as I burn the midnight oil. Perhaps I can tell you my story. The story of the steaming temptress who haunts me, the divine goddess, Vicky! But wait, there is another player in my story. There's my good friend, Victor. Ah, Victor, handsome, athletic, Mediterranean. Some said we were alike. My own mother on her deathbed said she could barely tell us apart. The nurse attending her said she was being sarcastic. In our days at the University of Virginia, Victor and I shared a room together, and that is not all we shared. We shared the same dream of sharing a room with Vicky. But not all three of us at the same time, no. It was not that sort of a university. It was that sort of a room, though. Vicky worked in the library, scrubbing the floors, but she scrubbed them oh so beautifully. Victor and I admired her through the after-hours book return shoot. We joined the book club to see the rest of her. Oh, how we flirted with her as we listened to the amusing stories written by one of our colleagues, a strange untidy boy by the name of, Edgar Allan Poe. Ah, how we laughed as we acted out his mad tales. Victor and I competing with our carnal antics to titillate our beloved Vicky. Ah. Upon graduation, I returned here to my ailing mother's estate, where I took up my obsession. Roses I read, violets are sticky. I love you, Vicky. Do you fancy a quickie? I was not quite the wordsmith that young Master Poe was. But would she desire me? I pondered, weak and weary. I sought counsel from my confidant, Victor. I invited him here for a feast, one like Mother used to make, and so could have if I moved her deathbed into the kitchen. After we supped and smoked and snorted, I filled our glasses yet again, and I announced to Victor, I have intentions. He replied, so do I, Algernon. Vicky has agreed to marry me. I raised my glass to him, and I hurled at his perfect face. He fell backwards against the fireplace grate, inches from the roaring flames. Stunned, he held out his hand towards me. The very hand that had held the hand of my beloved Vicky. I grabbed the carving knife and plunged it into the offending hand. This had no effect on him, for he was dealing with the fireplace poker impaled through his back. He whirled about like in a mad craze dance. As though he were dancing with my beloved Vicky. I grabbed the horn of an African buffalo that Mother had killed with her bare hands, and I gouged Victor's throat. Victor fell face first into the Yorkshire pudding, as though he were burying his face into the bosom of my beloved Vicky. I grabbed Mother's harpoon from the umbrella stand, and I speared him, just like Mother would have speared Father had he ever returned. Victor tumbled onto the bearskin rug, gyrating and moaning, as though he were fornicating with my beloved Vicky. I grabbed Mother's antique hammer from the piano. Mother was the first female blacksmith in Boston. And I bludgeoned him again and again and again. Weary, I took Mother's succotash up to her. It was cold by now. So was Victor. Victor, Why have you hurt me like this? He was silent, as though he were dreaming of my beloved Vicky. I hugged him again and again and again. I carried his body up the stairs, past Mama's room, as she toyed with her succotash. She still lies there, you know. She's still there, across the hall, on her deathbed, for the past 30 years. Still taunting me with her sarcasm. Although her voice was somewhat faint this morning, perhaps due to the pillow I was holding over her face. Soon it will be inheritance o'clock. Now, where was I? Oh yes, I carried Victor's body here into my chambers, where I began building a wall, the very wall you shadows dance upon. I toiled unto dawn, as I was about to place the final brick into position. Victor emitted an ungodly sound. I peered into his dark tomb. Alas, it was merely flatulence. How ironic I had cooked his final meal. Everything always comes back to haunt me. I sealed Victor's final resting place and his ungodly stench forever. Should the authorities arrive to suspect my wall, I would have been apt in advising them, don't go in there. Later that day, I called upon my beloved Vicky. Vicky, Victor feels that he cannot marry you because he has a tiny Johnson. She burst into tears and held me tightly, not noticing the crown in my pocket. I tried to comfort her with my simple proposal of marriage. She cried, yes, yes, if I cannot have Victor, I will have you, Algernon. Alas, the happiest day of my life became the most tragic. Vicky, longing for Victor, she died of a broken heart. She died on our wedding night. She died under me. Yet, I persisted. I consummated our marriage posthumously. Again and again and again. Oh, but you must understand, dear shadows, we were young. We were virgins. I removed my good shoes about undoing the laces. In the midst of such frenzy, death is not a factor that one would consider. A young man is apt to continue despite it. She may have been cold, but I was hot. I left her corpse on her wedding bed, and I fled in terror, never to enter that room again. My good shoes are still in there. To this day, her voice lingers. She whispers her lover's name. Sometimes, in the dark hours, from behind the wall, I hear Victor reply. This macabre banter is interrupted by the third member of the household, the one not yet a ghost, but should be, complaining about nothing succotash. The terror of my tale is one that not even Poe could imagine. I see her, reflection. She is standing behind me. I am the only man alive to learn this. Death does not preserve the spirits. Like a fine wine, it matures. My once petite Vicky, now that she has ripened, she looks like Mama! In my life, I have behaved badly. Yet, if I drink, I am absolved. Till the next midnight hearing, you shadows, when I shall become absolved again.